It wasn't until she was moments away from being handed a giant novelty check that Ellie understood there was nothing worse you could do to a person than hand them a giant novelty check. It wasn't a prize. It was a cardboard headstone with her name embossed in italics across the front. She was a few weeks away from turning 30, and her life, with all its potential and excitement, was over. "My life is over," she said to her agent, an older woman named Madeline, who adored resin jewellery, period dramas, and delivering a constant stream of withering epithets, most of which were aimed at Ellie. "Don't you think you're being a little dramatic?" Madeline said, her eyes flicking around the room, presumably looking for the richest person in it to charm. "Madeline," Ellie said, "what percentage of your life have you spent genuinely happy?" "All of it," Madeline said, mouth puckering, her face grim. Sure, nobody wanted to fail. Ellie's entire career up to this point had been proof of that. There was a particular cruelty to unanswered grant applications, to the desperate messages you sent to old art school friends before a group show to drum up the numbers. But success was, in its own way, a sharper death. Ellie felt excitement drain out of her like colour from frightened skin. "I'd like to go and have a cigarette," Ellie said, shuffling her feet, feeling very much like a child asking her teacher if she could go to the bathroom. She was wearing a fine dress, black and heavy Doc Martens. They scraped across the floor. "Not now," Madeline said firmly. "You're about to give a speech." "Can you do it for me?" Ellie mewled. "Just tell them I'm a mute." "The judges know you're not mute," Madeline said. "Who do you think you whined about this evening to?" "Oh, those were the judges," Ellie said, sucking in a flute of air. To be fair, it wasn't a whine, exactly. No, it wasn't a whine. It was worse than that. In fact, Ellie had just told a small crowd, a crowd she could now see on reflection might have been a little unimpressed, that the Cope Prize was nothing more than a Ponzi scheme that had learned how to pronounce chiaroscuro. No human wanted to burn a bridge, but so often Ellie discovered something was a bridge by going to cross it and finding only ash. "You'd think a tongue that spent its lifetime so firmly unbitten might be a little sweeter," Madeline said, staring bleakly into the distance. "Or at least more precise."